head like that for a moment. Don't move. Don't move. Look at my nose. So right away, when I'm looking at this, do you notice that your left pupil, don't.
Oh, sorry. Okay, sorry.
This is what I get all day long. I'm trying to get her to stay fixed.
Sorry.
Okay, now look right here. Don't move. Okay, so you've changed it a little bit. You got it a little bit more level. Okay, so if somebody comes in like this, I go, what's wrong? And she's going to say, they slide down. She's going to use a lot of words. She won't just say they slide down. She's going to talk about how her family's been with it and everything, and she's been stressed out. So before I adjust them, I want to put them right there. Are they hitting your lashes?
Yes, but it's okay.
Okay. Oh, you don't mind if they hit?
I don't mind that.
And you don't mind having to clean them all the time because they're hitting your lashes?
That's where they're comfortable.
So that would be a yes, you don't mind.
I mean, I would mind not having to clean them, but
Do you want me to adjust them so they sit right up like that, or do you want me to, and they would hit your lashes, or would you like me to move them down so they clear just a tiny bit?
I would like them cleared just a tiny bit.
Okay, so then what I do is I pull this slightly down. Are they hitting now?
No.
Okay, so now that's where I'm going to think of about how to adjust the temples, right there. So then you will never see me like this. I can't see what I need to see. So I'll be done like this, and then I'll go like this. And often the patient will turn their head, and I'll just say it's better without. And then if you take a look at this, guys, you got to be able to see this. Do you see that you've got 1/4 of an inch there? It's going to slide that much. And then I'm putting pressure here. You notice how that does not touch your head? I'm moving the temple. That's got to be against the head. Okay, and then I'm going to, and in the meantime, what I did to start with is I looked to see if they were straight. They were straight after she readjusted. And as I came in here like this, I looked over the top to see if they were like this. Because what if I adjust this temple, but in fact the frame was sitting like that to start with? Now when I adjust it so it sits well, I got to readjust the temple. You see why I have to do it in a certain order? And then over here, if you guys notice over here, this one is hitting perfect. See? Now maybe I can come down just a little bit with that, but you see it's hitting maybe a tiny bit, 1/8 of an inch, but you see the difference between that one and then over here, you see that's a much bigger gap. Mm-hmm. I see that? Okay. And then so I'm going to take them off, and right away I want to notice what this is like. So really they should never be like this, okay? They can be like this, especially on people with a narrow head in through here like I am. So if I got really wide ones, they would come like this. But if they're like this, that won't fit anyone right, because somebody might say, well, what if their head's that fat?
And
Okay.
like this, you mean splayed out?
Yes, splayed out. What if their head's that fat? Well, then you have to have them this wide, but then it's got to curve back in, see? So they're either going to be like this, correct, or like this with a certain curve. Okay, so I already know that. And I'm able to see, if you look at this, it's subtle, but this temple is slightly out further. Can you guys see that? It's slightly out further than this one. Mm-hmm. So what happens when it's out further? This side goes in more. Now that explains why there's more gap here than there is here. So that tells me right away, I don't want to adjust this one back more. I want to adjust them both about 1/8 of an inch shorter. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring this in so they're even, and then then this pair of glasses won't sit back further like that. So, and now the other thing is I'm looking at, what about the scope of this? Is that proper, that wrap? That's pretty close to right, okay? So I'm not going to bring these in by heating it here. I could get a little bit, and if it was just a tiny bit I needed to do, I might do that. But if I really want to bring these in so there's more tension, I have to adjust them here, okay? And I'm also looking to see if the plane of the lenses is equal. And it looks pretty equal to me. So once I can see that's kind of equal and I already know that they sit level, I don't care how they sit down on this plate. The way they sit is what I need to mimic to make it sit level on her. So here's just a tad like that, like maybe a 1/16 of an inch on her right temple. So when I get done adjusting them, bringing this in, I want about the same thing because I already know they sit level. So here's what we're gonna do. And we're running low on salt. You see this thing's really about half full. And it shouldn't be all the way, but it should be up here higher because it holds heat better, okay? And then so I still always like to make the salt more homogeneous in the heat by stirring it like that. Now I'm gonna heat it here and here. I don't need heat right there because where it's gonna bend, if you can picture the flex that goes, it's gonna be flexing there. And I wanna keep the heat off the lens as much as possible. And then I don't just hold it in the same place because the frame is cooling the salt where I'm holding it. Now I'm gonna get the back side here now. So notice I'm adjusting the temple, how much it goes in and out before I adjust the length. So I'm really, my index fingers are holding the lens from coming in, and then my thumb is putting pressure. Notice my thumb is right at the hinge. I don't have it out here. Then I'd be bending this whole length. I don't want to bend that whole length. And I hold it long enough to have it cool down a bit. And then, so I notice I didn't get very much, okay? And you'll find that that happens to you too. So that tells you you've got to be more aggressive. Heat it at least as much and bend it more, because you're kind of guessing how much you should heat it when you're doing this. I'm also trying to stay away from the metal temple because that would transfer the heat along down to the hinge. So I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive now in how I bend it. Now I like to do it on something like this because I can hold it steady. Okay, so you can see I got plenty aggressive, but it's okay while it's still warm. It's easy enough to kind of pull it out just a trifle amount. And remember, they're spring. Oh, these aren't spring, okay? So when they're not spring, it's less forgiving about how tight it is. Okay, so but you can see that's quite a bit further in.
Wow.
There's a lot more in it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Which is good. I need that.
Yeah, it actually started out, that right side, if you remember, started out further out. Okay, and also you tell patients, you go, to keep the adjustment as long as possible, try to use two hands putting them on and taking them off. You see patients do this, they take it and they're whipping them off like this, which is putting pressure, making this go out.
Mm.
You see that a lot in the movies and stuff where they want to make a dramatic point. Let me tell you this. So I'm going to try to match as best I can the other side. And then if you're off a little bit, you need to put a little pressure on the piece to make them even, because otherwise one side will sit closer to the face.
Is there a risk that by doing that, the lens can come out of the frame?
It can, that's why my index finger is holding it in. Otherwise, it's gonna make it pucker right out. That's why my index fingers are on the other side of the lens. So that's what we're left with,
Oh my goodness.
you see? See, it's pretty even. So then I still know I need to move it about 1/8 of an inch back, not much. But that 1/8 of an inch drives some patients nuts. They slide from here to here. I like my glasses for myself pasted right up against my face. So I'm gonna go here with this thumb, and then I'm just gonna come right under. And I scooted my thumb a little bit forward when I did that. Okay. And you guys remember this temple was turned out a little. Remember I had to put pressure on it here to make it go in. You can already see it needs to be done. See? So watch, this is real subtle, what I do to move it that 1/8 of an inch. So I'll put right at the bend, I put my finger there, and then come right there a little bit shorter. And then getting this action in is very easy. Okay, so now let's see where we are. And that little squeaking is the lens, the frame settling from being turned in so much. See, and now you see when I do this, look, see how it's pushing the skin evenly, watch. It's pushing the whole skin, all of it, even down here. So I know I'm even everywhere. That's what I want. That's why I go like that. If I see that this doesn't move at all, I'm away from the head. And so right now, the way they're really pasted on her face, she can do a trampoline or whatever. And then this side's perfect already, I can see. So I know she's not going to complain about them going down. What I'm going to say is, does that feel too tight? And she's probably going to say yes. Yeah, because I mean, come here. So what I can do is, again, if I want to bend this out a little bit, I don't want to do it here. Here's where the bend takes place. If I do this, look, the whole thing is bending. So I just simply put a little bit of pressure there.
And you're bending the metal, correct?
Yeah, I'm bending the metal, and this wants to kind of come back to where it was anyway. So you can already see I bent that one out just a little, with just a little subtle touch. And then, so then I know right away she's going to, okay. So you see, okay, it's just real subtle. Now, the only thing I know she could complain about is that the squeeze is not going to be too much now this way. It might be that they're a little bit pulling on her ear, pushing it back that way, which would indicate that my 1/8 of an inch was maybe 5/32 instead of 4/32.